Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video, which is a flick through for Wargames Illustrated issue 411 March 2022. Now I do have to apologise for the very late running of me recording and doing this video. I recorded several videos the other week after I got my Warhammer Imperium subscription through, and I intended to do the Wargames Illustrated one, but unfortunately my mental health decided to kick in, and yeah, things did not go as planned. So without any further ado, we shall have a look at Wargames Illustrated for this month, and on the cover you've got this really great artwork of a war elephant, and we do have an article on beasties a bit later on in the magazine, but we also have an article on speed paints and some other bits and pieces. So opening up, we have the introduction from the editor and the contents page, and then we have subscriptions. We then going into a double page advert for Warlord Games epic scale Waterloo campaign. Now these are extra sets in addition to the ones which came out last month, and these ones are British Highlanders and Riflemen. So we have Highlanders in line formation, and then Riflemen in skirmish formation, and then we also have French Middle and Old Guard in line formation, and both of these come with cannon. The British come with howitzers, and the French come with cannon. I think they're 12-pounder cannon. So yeah, if you're collecting that as a new war game for yourselves, there you go. Quickfire, quick read post from Wargames Illustrated readers and their hobby project notes. So this particular guy has been doing zombie Napoleonics, which are great. I particularly like this French soldier with his head on top of his bayonet, like that. And then another guy has been sending in his baseboard diorama designs, etc. So observation post, not much jumped out at me in this particular thing. We have some silver bayonet Russian, Austrian and Prussian units, and then we have a very quick painting guide here for painting them. Artisan designs, thrilling tales, archaeologists. So we have some Egyptian police here, some Egyptian labourers, and then some archaeologists. And Crusader miniatures, half-orc, marauders, ogres and dwarves. So you've got some dwarves, some half-orc marauders here, and some ogres. And then we're coming into some of the books, etc. So this was an interesting one. This is a campaign that I didn't know anything about, and it's basically the Great Northern War from 1700, when Russia under Peter the Great and some of Sweden's other neighbours tried to take advantage of the youthful new Swedish king Charles XII. So yeah, that's interesting. I do intend at some point to try and find out a little bit more about that particular war. And then we have Tumbling Dice, 1/4800 Anglo-Dutch warships, so 1/4800 scale, and they've basically released these small-scale ships for seafaring wargaming, and these are Anglo-Dutch ones. and it's for the intricacies of the Anglo-Dutch Wars. Release radar. Eclectic selection of new and upcoming releases. So we have some halflings here. We also have a small sprue from anziominiatures.com for converting World War II British or Commonwealth infantry into Gurkhas. Some great vehicles here from the First Corps, but these are, rather than the standard wargaming scale, these are in 1/48 scale. All are in 1/48 scale, so be careful if you are mixing them with other ranges that are 28mm. We then have some scenery here, and there's a mention of a company called Antonessetti's Workshop. Now, I have done a couple of videos on stuff from Antonessetti's Workshop, and I find their items, their merchandise, to be really, really good. They concentrate mostly on sort of like infinity and sci-fi and survival games, so things like Walking Dead All Out War, zombie survival games, that sort of thing, infinity and other sci-fi, but they also do a small amount of fantasy. So they've recently released some fantasy tavern furniture, like a bar, a kitchen, tables, bedrooms, tavern bedrooms, that sort of thing. They're struggling. I'm not gonna dress this up. They are struggling with the rising costs at the moment, and as they're only a small, essentially they're only a small independent cottage type industry, but they do some absolutely wonderful things. So if you have the opportunity, go and have a look at their website at antonessetti'sworkshop.com, and show them a little bit of love and send them an order. Quite often the items are made to order, which means that you may be waiting a few weeks before you get your order delivered. But the quality is superb, and they are really nice people. But they've just released this public convenience set for the survival range, so modern survivalist range. But I also think it'd be quite funny if you're doing a Space Hulk board. What would be more funny than one of the rooms being the head in a starship? Or that may just be me. But there you go. Give them a bit of love and buy something from them. And then we have some various animal miniatures from Arcane Scenery and Models.co.uk. So, full paper jacket. We have some various bits and pieces, but the ones that stuck out for me were a couple that weren't necessarily pictures of the books. So we have one here, Victorian, 107. That is the number of Victoria Crosses awarded to British and Commonwealth soldiers in the late Victorian Anglo, Zulu and Boer Wars. Kevin Brazier outlines them all in his Victoria Crosses of the Zulu and Boer Wars. Now that is certainly something that I might be interested in reading, because obviously the tales that go down behind people being awarded their Victoria Crosses are extraordinary, and you know they deserve to be remembered. One of the other books that I like the look of was Modern Soldiers of Fortune, and that one is obviously going to be from Osprey, so you can expect some really good colour plates showing various different I've forgotten the word now. But yeah, the different mercenaries, that's it. So different colour plates of different mercenaries throughout the 60s to 2020. There's going to be, because there are quite a few interesting stories about various different mercenary groups, especially in Africa. I think there's going to be some very interesting stories in there to read. Certainly some of the colourful characters that were involved in mercenary campaigns in those times. So we then have some Beasts of War, and this is just a general article talking about different animals that have been used in warfare. So elephants, dogs, horses, up to the modern day where forces are teaching things like seals and dolphins to do certain things. Great article, really interesting. Some of the more World War weird, etc. Included in that. We then have an article which was highlighted on the front of the magazine, which is base shading. Which is contrast paints or speed paints, and how they look and how you get on with them, etc. And they do a comparison. These ones, this is predominantly regarding the Army Painter speed paints. They have a full list of those paints there, and it gives you a sort of like how it's dried and what it looks like as it's dried. A little overview there. Then they do a very brief side-by-side contrast of Dark Angels Red and Blood Red for a Horus Heresy Space Marine. And then some speed paint showcases as well, to show you what you can get. Into the woods we go. Animals and beasties in the wild. Again, this is a general article talking about Beasts of War and how you can play them in war games, etc. Talking about movement, prey behaviour, stalking, that sort of thing, gameplay concepts, etc. And I think I mentioned these last time, but hey, Adrian's Walls at adrianswalls.co.uk, they do some really great looking wargaming terrain. This time it's North African colonial terrain, 15, 20 and 25mm ranges. And looking at these, they just look absolutely gorgeous, and they would look really good in any boards for that particular era or system of wargaming. We then have a third article for Beasts of War. This time we're looking at dinosaurs, more or less. This is more or less a scenario for a particular game, talking about what you would need, and various animals here like Iguanodon, Megalosaurus, Hylaeosaurus, raptors, saber-tooth, and what their movement is, behaviour, skills, wounds, etc. So you can play them within this game. Drink the blood, thy thirst will pass, the combat of the 30. Basically talking about chivalric warfare between knights and their squires. Also gives you some information on playing a game, turn sequence, activations, resolving combat, etc. Camels, beasts of burden, or ships of the desert. Now, again, this is a Beasts of War article, and you're looking at information on using camels in games, wargaming with camels, and that sort of thing. Talking about the British Camel Corps in the Sudan, and again, giving you ideas for gaming them. The shed battles, never mind the billhooks. Giles Shapley, also known as Eric the Shed, has replayed the major battles of the Wars of the Roses with his gaming group and the never mind the billhooks rules. So this is just basically a article going through how they fought their battles and how they got on using the rules. But some absolutely great photographs of the gaming boards, and although it's all modular terrain that they're putting down in order to then do the battle, it all looks absolutely fantastic. Cuban War Dogs, again another article, Beasts of War. It's just talking about using dogs, etc. The needle gun in war and on the tabletop. Bill Gray looks at the seemingly anomalous impact of the Dre's needle gun, a weapon that managed to win the day by inflicting far fewer casualties on the battlefield. So this is an interesting, it's talking about a particular weapon in a particular time frame, 1862, you know, so the 1860s onwards, and talking about how you would wargame that particular weapon within your games. We've then got painting pachyderms, so painting your war horses, and you've got 3 different examples here of different war horses. We look like we've got something from the Roman area, possibly used by Hadrian, or no, not Hadrian, Hannibal. I'm not too sure what this one would be, but these look like Indian war elephants. Victrix Roman war elephant, so there you go, that's this one. And that gives you a guide to painting these, which you can obviously transfer onto the war mammoth that from the Lord of the Rings as well. Yeah, so we got the Indian elephant, and then the other one was Gripping Beast Timurid elephant. And there you go. Nice little article showing you different techniques that you can use when painting these wee beasties. We then have a what appears to be a Japanese wargaming article talking about the Sengoku Jidai organization. Traditionally, Wargames rules and army lists have divided Sengoku Jidai armies into units equipped with the same weapon: Ashigaru with long spears, Teppu with bows, Yari, etc. for samurai. Yeah, so yeah, that is obviously for wargaming samurai era battles. And there you go. So coming to the end. Wargames Illustrated next issue, hitting stores late March. So I should probably go and look for that at the end of the week and see what I can find. And hopefully, all being well, I shall get a video out a lot sooner next time. But there you go. That was Wargames Illustrated flick through for March 2022, issue 411, 411. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.